It's been 4 weeks since the first draft team selection came out. That's the team you can see coming onto the screen now. If you haven't watched that initial video and you're wondering why some of these players were picked, it's definitely worth checking that out. But of course, I've been continuing to tinker with the squad, and I thought it'd be a good idea to talk you through a couple of changes that I'm considering, and some plans for rotation strategy. But nothing is set in stone, and there will be a further team selection video for Game Week 1 when we get into the final week before the season begins. Robert Sanchez keeps his place between the sticks, and it's in defence where the first change comes. It's emerged that Luke Shaw played with broken ribs throughout the knockout stages of Euro 2020, casting doubts over his availability at the start of the season. Of course, if we see him training and ready to go come Game Week 1, he'll be straight back in, but for the sake of exploring alternative options within this draft, he makes way for Lamptey. The right back suffered a hamstring injury that cut his 2020-21 campaign short, after impressing with a goal and 3 assists in the opening 7 game weeks. But he's back in training for pre-season, and looks to be in line to feature from the off. The rest of the defence remains the same for now, while Salah, Fernandes and Jota each keep their places in midfield. But the plan here is to move to a 4-4-2 formation, and to do that, some extra funds are needed from the forward line. So reluctantly, it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin who's been sacrificed, with Danny Welbeck coming in as a budget alternative, as highlighted in the recent Top 5 Forwards video. His end-of-season form and cheap price tag makes him ideal to use as a rotation option, with fixtures against Watford and Brentford in the opening 4 game weeks. There are further 2 changes on the bench, with Yves Bissouma making way to restore the quota of Brighton players down to the maximum of 3. It's an upgrade to Mason Greenwood, who, as discussed in the differentials video, could make a big impact early on in the absence of Marcus Rashford. The 19-year-old ended last season with 6 goals and 1 assist in 8 appearances. And the final change for this updated draft sees Connor Cody make way for Luke Ayling, who works well in rotation with Lamptey. Despite failing to produce a goal or assist last season, the right back created 5 big chances, only trailing Matt Loughton amongst 4.5 million defenders. And as mentioned, with those changes the formation moves to 4-4-2, with Greenwood replacing Welbeck for Game Week 1. To make full use of this squad, Fofana, Lamptey, Welbeck and Ayling can all be rotated over the first 5 game weeks. Luke Ayling complements Lamptey's fixtures well, allowing for 5 consecutive matches with a difficulty rating of 2. During this calendar year, Leeds and Brighton have conceded the fewest number of Premier League goals amongst teams outside of the Big 6. Danny Welbeck meanwhile can cover the tougher fixtures for Wesley Fofana in the opening 5 game weeks, though it's a tough call between them for Game Week 1. 8 of Leicester's 11 clean sheets last season came against teams that finished in the bottom 8. So that's how this current draft is looking, but again remember nothing is set in stone. There will be a further team selection video for Game Week 1 when we get into the final week before the season begins, so do stay tuned for that.